All right. Hello, everyone. There we go. Hello and good evening, good morning, wherever you're joining in from. Hey, Satyavat, welcome to the stream. And today is 15th May, Friday 2020. And yes, welcome to the stream, everyone. And what we have been doing, okay, bump up the volume. Let me check. Is that better? Okay, it looks like, yeah. Is that better, Satya? Hello, hello. Mic test, mic test. Okay, so looks like my voice is a bit low. Let me just get that fixed. I'm not sure if any settings have changed since the last time. Looks, maybe, how about now, Satya? Is now better? Is it better now? I hope this is better. Okay, perfect. Uh, So, just a bit of a quick update for folks following this stream. In case you miss a lot of things or miss some things on my previous stream and you just want to get some context, I just started making all these videos available on YouTube. And I previously pasted the link on uh, the YouTube stream in the chat, but you can also see that on my Twitch channel. So make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you can go to my channel and check out the videos there. So I've just tried to get all of these videos up here on my YouTube channel. So if you go there, I've just put all these live streams in there. So that should help you in case you missed learning about how, a couple of things that I might have covered. I've been using, as you can see, I've been using Camtasia, and I've been doing this for the past 2 hours, and my computer has slowed down to a crawl, but somehow it's still working. So I can manage the stream as well, and hopefully nothing goes wrong during the stream. And that's one thing that I learned while streaming, is that it's very important to kind of finish that entire stream in one go without having to disconnect. Because if I disconnect, then on a single day, I have two different videos, and then I have to kind of get both of them together in Camtasia, stitch them up, and then finally upload to YouTube. But if I just did one stream, I could just upload the file directly, and that is way easier that way. So yeah, anyways, just go into my YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe to it, and follow all this the skill that I've been building currently. Except for the first couple of days, I've uploaded all of that to the YouTube channel. So maybe that should help you out. Hey Monish, welcome to the stream. Uh, Glad to have you here. So let's get started. So I'm just going back to our skill, and I'll show you what we did so far with our skill. And the last episode, we learned about how to use. So we learned about these two really cool functions in the AWS DynamoDB SDK, which is Marshal and Unmarshal, right? And what Unmarshal does is when DynamoDB kind of returns the JSON back from, you get a JSON back from DynamoDB, it comes with DynamoDB descriptors, right? So it has the string descriptor in there, it has the number descriptor in there, it has the M descriptor in there. And maybe you don't want that, you want a proper JSON. So if you want a proper JSON, you need to use Unmarshal. And if you have a proper JSON and you need to convert it into a DynamoDB descriptor format, you can just do something like a Marshal format, Marshal function here. Excuse me. But yeah, that's something that you could do. and it would do that. So that was something fun that we learned on the last stream, and you can read a bit about that here. Marshall AWS DDB function. Okay, looks like I got that link wrong. Let's see. We did this last time. Okay, let me check. I think I had a Stack Overflow link for that. Nope. Marshall converter DDB. Is it this link? Nope. It doesn't look like that. Is it? Yeah, this is the link that I was talking about. So this was something cool that we learned. So basically, convert a JavaScript object into a DynamoDB record, or convert a DynamoDB record into a JSON record. Anyway, so that's what we did last time. So last time, what we had reached was, we kind of came to that function. We kind of wrapped up this function where we would get the user's opponent and the game. And once we get the user's opponent and game, we kind of go back to this function and ask the user for more details, right? Ask the users more questions. So let's look at how the experience looks like right now. And folks, let me tell you, this skill is going to take a bit of time. So maybe from next week onwards, I might start jumping into. Hey Synchro Photo, welcome to the stream. Yes, let me post that link here. So this is the link, and in fact, let me actually find that question recommended. Yeah, there you go. So what I wanted to do was kind of remove these data descriptors here and turn it into this. So maybe this Stack Overflow question could also help you as well. But welcome to the stream, Synchro Photo. And glad to have you join the stream as well. Okay, so anyways, coming back to the topic, let's see how the skill works right now. This is how it works, right? So and I know this. So what I was saying is this skill is going to take me a bit of time to build. So maybe for the next week, once in a while, I'll kind of change gears and do something different. Maybe I'll jump into an API in Alexa or something like that, just for the sake of doing something different, because just working on one thing is going to get me crazy. But yeah, anyways, so let's go to this, open the dialog quiz, and I believe we'll need to delete the user. And let me just take off the headphones so you can hear Alexa's voice as well. So you are getting the welcome back user method, but we are at this point not focused on the return user experience. Right now, we are just focusing on the happy path. So that's how I kind of try to build my skill, is first focus on getting the user, the first time user, enticed to use the skill. And once I figure that out, kind of start thinking about the return experience. So at this point, I'm not too worried about how the return experience looks like. All I'm doing right now is just getting the happy path worked out. So there we go. Right, so this is our DynamoDB database, and we had this. So the current user that we are using is this first user, right? We have still not captured their games because they have not played a game yet, and we don't have their name because we don't have a name for them yet, right? So at this point, it's going to be empty. I'm just going to delete it so that we can try the clear experience, the first time experience once again. So let's try this out. Exit this, open the dialog quiz, unmute the site, and maybe bump up the audio a bit.
Welcome to the Ultimate Dialogue Quiz. In this game, I will play an audio clip of a dialogue from a movie, and you have to guess the actor and the movie. In each game, I will pitch you against an opponent and give you 5 questions. To get started, I am going to teach you how to do that. I will play an audio clip of Marlon Brando from Godfather. When I ask, give me the right answer. Tell me the answer.
I'm going to say here Marlon Brando from Godfather.
Wahoo! That was easy, wasn't it? I am sure you are now ready to start your journey. Let me find a player for you to compete with. I found someone to play with you. The player is Oxygen Box.
Hey Oxygen Box, I don't see you on stream today, but in case you are here, do say hi. But yes, so this is the initial experience that we are going for, where what we are going to do here is we at this point we have just taught the user how to play the game. Okay, now we found a player for them. Now once we found this player, if you look at their DynamoDB record, what's going to happen here is, look at this. So Oxygen Box has, where did that go? Okay, let's try and edit it from here. Yeah, so if you look at this games object, so we have a couple of games here for this user. So we have game 1 and then we have game 2, and we also have a questions. So the idea that I'm trying to do here is Auction Box is one of the bots that I have created for the game, and that's how I'm proceeding with this. So because when the first time a user comes to the skill, I don't want them to play against an empty player or a player that does not exist. So I kind of made some few bots here so that the user feels like they have an opponent. But once a user starts coming into the skill, and then they start playing the game, and then more users start coming into the game, they will get matched against real users. So but at least for the start period, I kind of want to add some bots in here so that it they get someone to play against. So now Auction Box has a couple of games here, and they have a few questions as well. Auction Box says I better win. Let's see, Auction Box, let's pitch you against my player. But yeah, so what's going to happen is we are going to take these questions. So these are the questions that Oxygen Box has already answered. So these, my idea was that we would have 100 questions, and out of those 100 questions, we are going to have 1, 3, 43, 45, 40, 94. These were the 5 questions that were asked to the to Oxygen Box, right? And we are going to ask these same questions to the user, right, who is playing this game. So let's see how we want to proceed with that. So for this purpose, we had a skill data.js file, and we had this Hollywood dialogues and Bollywood dialogues. So that was my earlier plan, where I would say that I wanted to categorize. But having said that, at this point, I don't want to spend a lot of time going into whether they want the Hollywood experience or the Bollywood experience, right? This is something I will fine tune it for the later part of it, because it's more or less like data scrubbing part. So I just don't want to spend a lot of time on here. But what I'm going to do here is, let me just copy this, and let me add just enough. So how many do we have? How many records do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Maybe just add 3 more. Okay. So roughly something like this. Okay. And what I'm going to do here is, let me actually capture all of these files. And I like, in case you don't know what I just did, I just used the multiple selection feature. And what it does basically is you can select some text, common text, and select all of those, and the cursor gets to the multiple places. So what I'm going to do here is, because I don't have any audio files right now, I'm just going to put the Godfather audio file all the time. Okay. But What I'm also going to do here is I'm going to just add some random movies here and random actors here. Okay, and I'm not too worried about this data right now. I will clean this up eventually. I'll kind of put in better audio files. I'll kind of put in better actors. I'll make the questions a bit more tough to work with. But since I'm coding here and my focus has to be on coding, I'm kind of not too worried about the data, right? So let's just start doing this, right? Uh, so how about you folks? Let me know some actors and some movies, right? Sorry, yeah, some actors and the movie. So, for example, let's start with Fight Club, and that would be Brad Pitt, right? Um, Interstellar, the actor would be Matthew McConaughey. Well, actually, how do you spell Matthew McConaughey? Is that the correct spelling? I'm pretty sure that's not the correct spelling, but yeah, I'm pretty sure the search engine would help me out with that. Uh, hey, LGBT boy, welcome to the stream. Dipanshu Jain, welcome to the stream. Um, Kevin Hart. Which movie was Kevin Hart in? Let's take. And at this point, I'm not too worried about, you know, which movies was he in. The dialogues that I'm going to put up in. Oh yeah, Kevin Hart was in Jumanji. I really loved that movie. Thanks for that. Um, so Jumanji, right? Um, Kevin Hart, right? And who else? Let's see. Um, Forrest Gump. That would be Tom Hanks, right? Who else? Who else? The Rock. The Rock was again in Jumanji, right? So The Rock was in Jumanji. I think that's, and we can experiment with the different names as well. So I think that's perfectly fine. Now let me just add a few more. Who else do I add? Wow, I'm really blanking out on the names here, but. Hey, Oxygen Box, you know what? Yes, I'm. How did that just slip my mind? We could also have some actresses as well. Um, who do we? Okay. Uh, I recently watched this Reese Witherspoon movie, but I'm not sure which movies has Reese Witherspoon acted in. I'm kind of blanking out on that. But Reese Witherspoon was in which movies? Movies, works. Okay, IMDb. Let's go to IMDb. Okay, Legally Blonde, let's say, right? So, Legally Blonde. Okay, folks, I'll really need your help if you can help me out with a movie and Gwyn, yeah. Thanks for that synchro patro. Synchro photo. Uh, Gwyneth Paltrow, Iron Man, Machine Iron Man. Okay. Um, Meryl Streep. Any movie for Meryl Streep? Auction box. Let's write Angelina Jolie as well. Who else? Uh, was Anne Hathaway in? Was Anne Hathaway in Ocean 13? Was that the name of the movie? Ocean 13, the one with the entire lady cast, or was it Ocean 14? Was it Ocean 13? which is that Ocean trilogy with all the, or was it Ocean 8? I don't remember this. Yeah. So Ocean 8 had Anne Hathaway in it. So Ocean 8, right? And then Wizard of Oz. That would be, Wizard of Oz would be Judy Garland. And then The Color Purple. Oh, you know what? There is this one movie that I absolutely have to add because my wife makes me watch that movie all the time, and I absolutely hate that movie. And that movie is Notting Hill and Julia Roberts. I don't hate the movie, but yeah, I just don't like that movie. But yeah, there we go, Notting Hill and Julia Roberts. That's my wife making a comment from there about this movie. But yes, Julia Roberts, and let's just wrap this up with Meryl Streep. It's not a good movie. It's not a good movie.
But it's a classic romantic movie.
Yes. Yeah, for Meryl Streep, put Little Women. Okay, let's do that. Hey, thanks for that synchro photo. Okay, so what we have at this point is we have a list of data here, and we have the movies and the actor. And ideally, right now, I'm just playing the Godfather's audio file, but what I would do is I would go back and get audio clippings of dialogues from these movies and put them in here and put the appropriate link in here. At this point, I just have some dummy data because I'm just not going to worry about the data for the time being, right? Now, what's going to happen is, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah, I'm not going to fill up the Bollywood section at this point, synchro photo, because I just don't want to worry about the data part of it right now. I'm pretty sure that once I kind of put fill in the data, and that's something that I will be doing off stream because I don't want to utilize this time for just putting up some data in here. I believe we could use this time more productively. So anyway, so we have these all the actors and their audio files. Now we have around what 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. So we have around 15 of these. Ideally, I would want to increase this to say 100 or something like that. So what I'm going to do here is go back to this. Let's go back to our DynamoDB database, and out here for one of the users, let's change the question number. So there was 1, 3, 4, 9, 12. So these are the questions that could be asked. Okay. Then this could be 2, 8, 10, 12, 14, right? So these are the questions that they would have played. I would have randomly put into this database so that the player coming up, they would get these questions, right? So anyways, coming back to this, remember we talked about how we want to save these questions to a session attribute. So let's do that. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to do session attributes dot questions is equal to opponent dot, and this opponent questions are coming in from here, opponent dot game, right? And what would happen is right, so what's going to happen here is we are going to take the users. So at this point we have the first question done, so we are going to take the first question and we are going to speak it out. Okay, so we are going to ask the first question to the user, and for reference, this is how it's going to look like, right? It's going to say, I found a I found someone to play with you. So this is, I found a lot of sound from Seattle to compete with you, and here's your first audio clip. So now the first audio clip is going to play. And for the first time, what we are going to do is we are not going to play this out from the session attributes. We are going to play it back from the database. So we got it from the database. So let's actually do it from the database. Console.log opponent.game console.log. Let's see how this is supposed to work at this point. And by the way, folks, almost close to 100 points, 100 followers here on Twitch. So if you're not following me on Twitch, please make sure to hit the follow button. So that way you'll be notified whenever I go live. Yes, let's deploy this. And let's close all of these things that we don't need. Exit. And then once we exit, let's just wait for the deployment to happen. So at this point, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to find out how the JSON is coming back to us so we can pick that up properly. And it's Friday night. So what are your weekend plans, folks? What plans do you folks have for weekend? I click the long button in here. Let me just open this up. I'm just going to relax and maybe learn a bit of, I don't know, maybe I might work on a bit of the YouTube part of my website, and also make my website as well. But what are your weekend plans, folks? I'm going to be monitoring now. So let's, I think we should have deployed by now. Yeah, we've deployed. This is still processing. I've been doing this video for 3 hours now. That's really painful. Okay. Looks like, yeah. So let's delete the user now. Okay. Once we delete the user, I'll be cutting up some logs and starting setting fence posts to the fence in our farm. That's really cool, Synchro Photo. I've not me, but my father has a farm back in my hometown, and that's the best place for me to be. It's just so relaxing and close to the nature, and it's like just near a hill, or the foot of the hill. So it's a pretty cool place to go. But yeah, I'm really missing going there with all this lockdown that's happening in here. But where are you from, Synchro Photo? I haven't seen you around, and it's the first time I'm seeing you on the stream. But where are you from, if you mind sharing a bit about yourself? Okay, so now we have kind of put this name, and we've deleted the user. Let's try this out. So I'm going to open the dialog quiz now. I'm going to mute this because it just gets too overwhelming. And yeah, Marlon Brando from Godfather. How could you do that, Satya? How could you do that, Satya? You're going to talk about Azure. But yeah, glad you're working on something cool. Where is this working for a future talk on Azure? Okay, so that means you're talking about a talk in the future and not talking about Azure's future, I hope. And where are you giving this talk, Satya? And oh, Synchro Photo is from Whitby, Bee Island, about 2 hours north of Seattle. I haven't. I was in Seattle just. I made my first trip to Seattle just a couple of months back. I think it was in March, and that's when all this virus situation started, and I had to come back. But from what I saw of Seattle, I really loved it. Anyways, so coming back, we found someone to play with you. The player is Karthik. So this is the player we kind of got, right? And now once we've gotten this player, now I did the mistake here of putting in the wrong numbers, but let's look at the CloudWatch logs and see what our log returns. So our log should have returned at this point this opponent game, right? So let's just see how that is supposed to be. Yeah. So yeah, there we go. So this is what we got from there. So let me just change this as well to just keep this under 15. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So just making sure we have enough data questions to be asked to the user. So highway to 100 unicorns, that sounds really cool, Satya. At least the name sounds cool. Is it online somewhere? Oh, wow. This looks pretty cool. I'm not sure what this is, or this might be an outdated link, but this sounds really cool. I look forward to watching that, Satya. But yes, anyways, coming back to this, so we've got the question. So this is working perfectly fine. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take the question Vinayak H. Okay, it looks like my Streamlabs is not working, so I might have to kind of just type that in. Okay, so looks like Vinayak is. Oh, okay. I'll check this out, Satya. Cool stuff as usual. Right. Anyways, Satya's got friends in all the high places. Satya's got friends in all the high places, and that's because he is in one of those high places. For all of you who don't know Satya works for Adobe and has written a book called as Practical Docker with Python. So really cool book. Do check it out. But yes, coming back to this, so we've got the questions now. So what we are going to do is we are going to take this question. So that would be something like opponent.game. So we are going to take the first question, right? And the way we are going to get the first question is by doing opponent.game.questions. Okay, so I think we still have to get all those questions in a opponent.game.questions, right? So this would get all of those questions in there. And the first thing to do is kind of save that into the session attributes so that we know that we know that this is the question that we need to ask for this entire session. But we also need to at some point make sure that if the user quits the game and they come back, they start from wherever they left. So we'll talk about that at a later point. For the time being, we are just working the happy path. So the questions, right? So now let me just check this. I'm going to say var question is equal to opponent.game.questions of 0. Is that something that would work? I highly doubt that because these are object keys, but I know that's not going to work, but let's just see if we could do that. Speak output plus is equal to, here is your first question, or rather say here's your first audio clip, and this is going to be plus question, right? Let's see if that works. I have a feeling it's not going to work because I'm definitely missing something out with JavaScript. Pretty sure there is something wrong in here, but we'll figure it out soon. Oh, Auction Box brother just moved to Arlington. So now I'm really bad at this. I'm really bad at figuring out how to use a JSON object or a array. Delete the user. Kind of at some point need to automate this as well, because yeah, this gets too tiring to manage. But have we deployed this? Yep, we've deployed this. Let's try this out. Open the dialog quiz. Marlon Brando from Godfather. And I noticed something. If you don't wait for Alexa to speak the question, you go into the wrong answer, and we'll figure that out some point, why that is happening. But yes, at this point, we're not worried about it. I'm sure you're now ready to start your journey. Let me find a player for you to compete with. And now we expect Alexa to find a player for us, and then say, here's your first audio clip, undefined. Well, so that was that. So pretty sure this was not going to work. I think we could use object.keys for this in Node.js, and maybe kind of loop through object.keys. Returns an array whose elements are strings corresponding to the enumerable properties. So right, so this looks like what could help us, because if we had so this is our setup as well, right? So what we are going to do is, let's come back to the code. We are going to say object.keys of question, right? So this is just the question. We are not worried about the scores that the user has captured in here. So object.keys of opponent.game.questions, right? So this, what it is going to do is it's going to convert our entire questions and give an array of questions, and then if we do question of 0, it's going to say that, hey, here's your question, right? Now let's define skilldata.js and get we don't need this one. The first one should not be Godfather, it can be something else. Right, so let's actually define skilldata.js as well. Did we define skilldata.js? Nope, we didn't. Const data is equal to require requires skilldata.js, okay, and then, well, just a minute folks, /skilldata.js, and then what we are supposed to do here is, I could take let's actually do this. I mean, at this point I'm not too worried about getting that working, so I'm going to say console.log of data dot Hollywood. Is that the thing? Data dot dialogues dot Hollywood. Dialogues dot Hollywood of 1. Okay, so data dot dialogues dot Hollywood of 1. Let's see what happens with that, right? If this too works, here is your question. That's what we will ask Alexa for, right? Deploy this to Lambda. Wow, this is going to take a bit of time today. Let's come in here. Let's delete our users. So if we get this working, the majority of, I think the gameplay is kind of in place, and then we can kind of modify the gameplay as much as we want. So now, okay, that's deployed. Let's try this out. Exit. Let me just add this. Open the dialog quiz. Marlon Brando from Godfather. And the thing with using audio clips while testing is you have to wait for Alexa to just speak it out entirely. Where to compete with. I wonder, is there a way to kind of bypass that? Typically when I test it out with skills, what I usually do is kind of put all of this in the launch request and test it that way, but I kind of want to show you the entire experience. So it looks like we did get here's your first audio clip 1. So what we are going to do here is let's open this up and let's see if yeah, this one is working as well. So we are getting the JSON from skilldata.js as well. So that is great news. That is really good news. So what we are going to do is we are going to take this audio clip and we are going to play this, right? Let's try and play this. So what I'm going to do here is it's going to say, here is your first audio clip, and then it's going to say something like, so this is question of 0. So if you look at question of 0, so let me explain to you what's happening here. So if you look at question of 0, so if the opponent is Karthik's game 1, the 0th question is question number 1. So what we are going to do is we are going to come to the skill data file. We are going to take the first one. We are going to play that, because when Karthik was playing the game, Karthik is not the current user, by the way. When Karthik was playing the game, Karthik is a bot. When he was playing the game, he got Fight Club as his first question, and here's what he did. He got 5 points out of it, and he got 5 points because he just guessed either the movie correct or he guessed the actor correct. So if you guess both of them correct, you get 10 points, right? So what we are trying to do now here is we know that the first question was asked, so we are going to get the first question and we are going to play the audio file, and then we are going to ask the user, hey, who do you think this person is, right? So let's do that. So this is pretty exciting. So I'm going to do, here's your first audio clip, and I think the way you get the audio clips to play is we had this URL. Let's wrap this up, edit. Do you control the DynamoDB data model, or is that predetermined by the Alexa SDK or API? This is something that I am controlling it, SynchroPhoto. If I use something called as a persistence adapter, it's managed entirely by the Alexa SDK. But the problem with that is that it only returns you data for that certain user and not for other users. And in case like this, where you want to kind of get the other users' games, it wouldn't help. So I kind of had to do, I'm controlling all of this together. Now wait a minute. How do I toggle world? Yeah, toggle world wrap. And here's the reference for that synchro photo. I have a database.js file, and I'm just controlling all the models here. So it's entirely something that I'm doing. So this is how the link looks like. I did not use NoSQL Workbench. I just used the standard attribute standard DynamoDB table. This thing here, I have not made any changes as of right now. And again, at this point, please notice that I'm like a total novice at stuff like this. So it's just me just trying to find my way in. So this might be pretty novice stuff. But yes, if you use NoSQL Workbench, that should be good as well. Anyways, so this is my S3 bucket URL. I plan to keep all of this in an S3 bucket. So what I'm going to do here is constant S3 constant, what do I call it, audio files URL is equal to, right? So this is where all my audio files are going to be hosted. And okay, oh, synchro photo, you work on the DynamoDB team. That's pretty cool. Oh yeah, Workbench setting up. I was reading too. So in the past couple of weeks, I've been working through DynamoDB's document structure and stuff like that. But yeah, I haven't checked out NoSQL Workbench. I'll definitely do that. So is this pretty much? Let's see if I could set up a download without breaking my stream. But is this kind of fair to say that NoSQL Workbench is for you to manage your DynamoDB instances? And if yes, how does it differ from using the web console synchro photo on operations? It is for data modeling and for operation building as well. Okay, so I think the data modeling part, designing data models. Okay, interesting. And now that I have you here on the stream synchro photo, do you think this is a good idea to keep my DynamoDB database like this? I have a primary key ID. I'm saving the access time. I'm saving games, and I'm saving name like this. Is this a good way to do this? I don't know. What do you think? Or is there a better way to do that? Okay, so coming back to this now, let's come back here. Where are we? What were we trying to do now? What was I trying to do? Yeah, so here, what I'm going to do here is data.dialogs.hollywood of question of 0, which means that dot, I know this is not the right way to do that, question dot file, right? Question dot file. So this will give me the audio file, right? So I'm going to say let audio file is equal to this, and then append the audio music URL. Audio underscore files underscore URL plus this, and then play this audio file. And this is how I could play this. I just need to do a templating here. So the question is, do you need so Synchrophoto asks a good question. The question is, do you need all of the data each and every time you query that item? When do you need which data in your game? So let me so this is something that I'm still building out, so I haven't thought a lot about this, but now that you ask me, when I kind of open the skill and I open it for the first time, I do get all the data about the user for sure. And when I'm fetching an opponent for them, I do get the entire data of the opponent for sure. But out of that, I only need their name and I need one of the game values. So I don't need the entire data, but I need their name. I don't need their access time for sure. I don't need their ID. Or maybe I do need their ID, but so yeah, I need ID. I need game, one of their games, not all of their games, and I need their name. And I do see myself adding some more things in here, but yeah, I think these are the basic things I would need when I'm finding an opponent for them. And when the user starts the skill for the first time, I do get all their data about, and when they come back, I kind of get all of their data and keep it in the session. So yeah, I hope that helps you. Then you might need to break this out into separate items with a different sort key. Okay, and to be very honest, I'm pretty new to DynamoDB, so I'll need to read up on that. But I'll definitely read up on that, and if you can pass me along some links that I could read up on, I would really appreciate, because I'm pretty much new to all of this, and I kind of am looking at this the relational database way, which I know is not the right way to do it. But my hope was that I would start deep diving in it and kind of figure out how to reach out to that. But thanks for helping out Synchrophoto, and yes, I'll reach out to you for sure, either via Twitch, or maybe because you work at Amazon, I might reach out to you via Chime. I hope that's okay, and we can figure out. But yes, at this point, let's just go back and let's see if we can play the audio of that specific user, right? So I'm going to say audio src is equal to dollar audio file, right? And close this out. Is that how we are going to place this? I always need to, okay, so audio src is equal to, yeah, right? So here's your first audio clip, and let's just put in a space in here because we need that. Here's your first audio clip. Can you guess who this is, right? And now immediately what I need to do here is let me take session attributes dot questions questions. So look at this skill data.js dot movie and actor. So I'm going to take this questions dot session attributes dot correct movie is equal to, it's going to be the same thing, but it's going to be, what is it going to be? It's going to be movie, right? Is that the name of this? Yeah. And then this is pretty cool. Synchrophoto, I think I'll take this up. The Amazon DynamoDB deep dive, I'll do this. I'll definitely take this one. Synchrophoto, thanks for this. right? um, that's a cool uh, resource to work with. Thanks for that, synchro photo. Movie. So this is we are just saving the correct attributes in the movie, and correct actor would be the same thing. Synchro photo is now following. Thanks for the follow, synchro photo. Dot actor, right? So we just taking the correct movie and the correct actor and saving it into the session attributes, and then we are asking the user, can you guess who this person is, right? Now once they guess, now once they guess the user, guess the player, they need to come back to this, right? And the way we want to kind of handle that is, let's make the changes in our JSON file. So in our JSON file, let me add a new value out here, and this value is going to look like, the value is going to be, oh, you know what? Yeah, I don't think we need this. I don't think we need to change this, because Fight Club and Brad Pitt are recognizable movies. So I kind of have a feeling that answer intent is going to pick up answers like Brad Pitt from Fight Club, right? So I think it's going to pick that up. So now let's do one thing. So now what's going to happen is, the session attributes is going to be false, and the actor is not Marlon Brando anymore. So they are going to come into here, right? So it's going to be a loop now. So we are going to say speak output is equal to you answered the question the second time. Okay, so at this point I'm not too worried about you answered the question second time. I'm just checking out if this is working properly or not, and let's see if that works. Oh, so that's synchro photo there, and that's a pretty cool handle as well. Kirk, NoSQL know-how. That's a pretty cool name. I'll hand it. I'll ping you on Twitter. Thanks for that, Kirk. But yes, coming back to this now we've deployed this. So let's just test it out. And I hope this works, because this was what I was inching for a long time. And while I have you on stream, so I kind of feel like I should ask you a lot of questions about DynamoDB. But here's something I was asking Synchro Photo, if there's a better way to do this. Every time I'm testing my skill, I kind of need to come here and I kind of need to delete this user every now and then. Is there a better way to do that, but rather than coming here and doing it? I know that I could write a small script, but I want to delete a specific user while I keep testing this again and again. Is there a better way to do that? I just do this manually at this point, but happy to hear any suggestions that you might have. So now that we come back here, I've deployed this. So I think at this point what should happen is, we should have the first question, and then the second, so we should have the Marlon Brando question, which is a training question, and once the training question goes through, it would play the next question, which is going to be the actual question, right? So this is where we will start writing the logic if the answer is correct, but at this point we are not worried about any of those, right? We just want this to work properly. I know I'm taking this step by step, but I kind of feel that that's what works best for me. But yeah, let's try this out. Looks like we kind of working this now. And now let's actually unmute it. that was too loud.
Welcome to the ultimate dialogue quiz. In this game, I will play an audio clip of a dialogue from a movie, and you have to guess the actor and the movie. In each game, I will pitch you against an opponent and give you 5 questions. To get started, I am going to teach you how to do that. I will play an audio clip of Marlon Brando from Godfather. When I ask, give me the right answer.
So there goes the training.
Tell me the answer.
Okay, so that's Marlon Brando from Godfather.
Wahoo! That was easy, wasn't it? I am sure you are now ready to start your journey. Let me find a player for you to compete with. I've found someone to play with you. The player is Oxygen Box. Here is your first audio clip. There was a problem with the requested skills response.
We almost got it right. So what's happening wrong? Let's figure that out. Almost got it right. So what went wrong? This is after the response inside the launch request handler. Got the questions right, but what happened? Why can't I see that? So we reached this point, but this audio file didn't work. Let's actually look at the data. What was the problem with this, right? So this was our response. So this seems to be our SSML. Let's try and play this SSML. Let me find a player. Okay. Let me actually copy this JSON here and let's just debug this in here. View word wrap. Okay, there we go. So now I found someone to play with you. The player is Oxygen Box. Here's your first audio clip. Now what is the difference between this one, which is audio src is equal to, oh, you know what, I think this link does not work, and that was the issue. So I think we need to come here to skilldata.js, or rather where was that? It was in languagestrings.js. So the problem with this is, and we kind of covered this in a couple of streams, in a few streams back, where remember when we kind of try to play an audio file on Alexa, it needs to be in a certain format, right? And we kind of made all of that and saved it in this file. So I'm hoping that is what we messed up here. So let me just delete all of this. And yeah, so basically we can't use an MP4 file. You have to use an MP3 file, and it needs to pass some Audacity test of it needs to be passed through a FFmpeg and has to have a certain bit rate, without which this would not work. Yeah, but I think we should take this moment to look at how the code is working. So I think it did. So which was the first question? The first question was second question. So let's go to the second question in our database, not in our database, but in our file. So our second file is Interstellar and Matthew McConaughey. So it's playing Matthew McConaughey's voice. It will play Matthew McConaughey's voice. So we did have the correct actor here, and we had the correct movie here. Okay. So what we are going to do is, when we come back to that intent, we are going to check if the correct actor and the correct movie matched what the user said. So now I think all I need to do is just deploy this. And Kirk says either what you're doing in the console, a script, or a NoSQL Workbench. I create an AWS CLI command to do it and run it on the command line. Yeah, I think That's a better way to do that. Maybe I'll fiddle with it sometime today, this weekend, and maybe I'll start doing that from the next stream. I think I also did install the NoSQL manager, well, Workbench manager, but I just have too many applications open at this point, and I don't want my Mac to shut down. So I will definitely check that out. But yeah, let's just test this out. Let's reload this. Let's delete the user. Delete the user. Yep. I'm kind of positive that this time it's going to work. We did.
Welcome to the ultimate dialogue quiz. In this game, I will play an audio clip of a dialogue from a movie, and you have to guess the actor and the movie. In each game, I will pitch you against an opponent and give you 5 questions. To get started, I am going to teach you how to do that. I will play an audio clip of Marlon Brando from Godfather. When I ask, give me the right answer.
I'm gonna make him an offer, Captain.
Tell me the answer.
So hey, Jeff Blankenberg is raiding. Hey, welcome to the stream, folks. Gold Zulu, Justin. Justin is here. W Giorgio, Trade Lust. All of you are here. Welcome to the stream, folks. We just went pretty ahead in our skill, and what we are doing for folks who just joined in, we kind of are making this skill which checks you on your knowledge of movie dialogues. And like you just saw that it played an audio clip of Marlon Brando from Godfather, and then you have to test, you have to answer Marlon Brando from Godfather, and then what it does is it says yes, that was the right answer.
Wahoo! That was easy, wasn't it? I am sure you are now ready to start your journey. Let me find a player for you to compete with.
So we are just finding a player right now to compete with.
I found someone to play with you. The player is Oxygen Box. Here is your first audio clip.
I'm gonna make him an offer, Captain.
Dot, can you guess who this is?
So I need to remove that dot here, but here's what is happening right now. Okay, so at this point, we don't have enough data, so we just kind of put in everywhere. We just put in Godfather's file. So you would still listen to Godfather's file recording, but the answer is going to be different. So right now, the correct answer is going to be Matthew McConaughey from Interstellar. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to speak it out now. Let's see what happens if I speak it out. Matthew McConaughey from Interstellar. Let's see if we captured it correctly.
Oh, you had just one job. All you had to say was Marlon Brando from Godfather. Anyways, let's move on and start the game.
Right, so it's so Alexa,
I
stop.
found someone.
Right. So that's pretty much
Goodbye.
that's pretty much what we are doing. But it looks like we have a couple of problems here. So the very first problem to fix is kind of just come back here and remove this dot here. Let's just add a space here, or rather just keep it like this. Try pronouncing it differently is one way to do that synchro photo, but the other way to do that is here's what I think we could do is we'll go back to the developer console, and inside the developer console what we are going to do here is go to the actor part. So we are using the Amazon.actor slot, and we could kind of do a synonym match here. And the way we would do that is just get well, there we go. Right, so can you guess who this is? Right, so let's just take Matthew McConaughey's name, add them as an actor here, and then once we add them as an actor, what we are going to do here is just add their nicknames as well. So that makes sure that we are capturing any pronunciation differentiation. McConaughey. Okay, Matthew McConaughey. Is that, did I pronounce that correctly, Synchrophoto? I'm really bad with pronunciations. So yep, and that's because I also have a name that is not pronunciable properly, and my full name, I've never told a lot of these lot of this to a lot of folks, but my full name is way too huge. My name is, the name that I go with is Karthik Raghupati everywhere. But if you actually take all the semantics that my dad has to do because of an Indian name, it's Veera Ranganathan Purandira Karthik Raghupati. So that's like, I think this should be, I think there should be easily 48 characters in there. I tried counting in there once. I think it should be that much, 48 characters. That's like my full name. But of course, I can't use that name. Yes, the TLDR is P Karthikar. That's very easy to understand for everyone, or you can call me Karthik. But yeah, so a couple of things happening at this point, right? The very first thing is it did not pick up the pronunciation correctly, which we just fixed by adding, the synonyms. So we are good there. And what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to copy this entirely. And once I copy this, let's come back and go in and paste it back here, so you can see all of this is here. So the model has been updated, but now what is happening is we are landing into this part of the code, right, where what Alexa says is, so the second time when I answer it correctly, it says, oh, you had just one job, all you had to say was Marlon Brando from Godfather, and let's move on and start the game. Now this is something that we are using when we tell the user that, hey, I'll play an audio clip of Marlon Brando from Godfather, just tell me the right answer, and the user just says something wrong, and then they land in here, right? So, and this I believe is because the session attributes is true, right? So I believe what we could do is, and I'm pretty sure we could change this. I don't know if this is the better way to do this, but I'll just make this session attributes as false. Hey, Happy Space Forever is now following. Welcome to the stream, Happy Space Forever. Yes, and folks, if you are listening, we have Justin Jeffries as well. Justin is also building an Alexa game, and I think he's building a simulation game about growing a cactus, if I know that correctly. So do go around to his channel and give him a follow. I think we are on 47 followers and he's aiming to hit 50 followers. So do go and give him a follow as well. He talks about some really cool game stuff on Alexa as well. So yeah, so now we kind of set the session attributes to false, and then we are coming in here. So this is where we are going to check the correct answers from the session values, right? So let's see if this works at this point, right? Let's deploy this. I'm going to deploy this now, and let's delete the user again. Pet cactus raising simulator with Jomo Code and Alison Atwell. So that's a really cool stuff. I've been watching those videos, Justin. Pretty cool stuff that you've been doing so far. Let's test this out now. So I think we have deployed the code. Okay, let's try this out now once more. Exit. Let's open the dialog quiz. Postman is just opened up. Let me just, yeah.
Welcome to the Ultimate Dialogue Quiz. In this game, I will play an audio clip of a dialogue from a movie, and you have to guess the actor and the movie. In each game, I will pitch you against an opponent and give you 5 questions. To get started, I am going to teach you how to do that. I will play an audio clip of Marlon Brando from Godfather. When I ask, give me the right answer.
I'm gonna make him an offer again.
Tell me the answer.
So that's Marlon Brando from Godfather.
Wahoo! That was easy, wasn't it? I am sure you are now ready to start your journey. Let me find a player for you to compete with. I've found someone to play with you. The player is Oxygen Box. Here is your first audio clip.
I think I
I'm
need
gonna make
to.
him an offer again.
Dot, can you guess who this is?
Right. So now, so now I think the audio has played, and we know that the correct actor is Matthew McConaughey, and the answer is Interstellar. And at this point, you can also look at this question here. So this is basically question number 2. So we have question number 2's audio file that got played. But if you look at the opponent's score, and in this context, that is Oxygen Box has scored a 10 point here. So that means he's got both the actor and the movie correct, right? So what's going to happen here is, hey, thanks for joining, Satya. So what's going to happen here is, if I say Matthew McConaughey from, say, for example, Fight Club for some reason, right? So that would mean I just got the actor correct, but the movie wrong. That would just entitle me to get 5 points, okay? But at this point, I just want to check, if I say Matthew McConaughey from Interstellar, are we landing in the else part of here, right? So that is line number 71 here. So let's test that out. Okay, let me try saying Matthew McConaughey from Interstellar. Matthew McConaughey from Interstellar. Did I catch that right?
You answered the question second time, Karthik. Here is your first audio clip.
I'm gonna make him an offer again.
Right. So
Dot, can you guess who this is?
Alexa, exit. Right. So so that worked in the sense that we did land where we wanted to land, but it still looks like we are going through the trouble of getting all of these things spoken again and again, right? So this is something that we'll need to kind of start working on. But at this point, let's start working on the logic of, so it did pick up Matthew McConaughey this time, right? And what I want to do is let's actually come back here. Okay. Why did I land here? Yeah, so here I'm going to take Matthew McConaughey. So here's a problem now though. If you look at the actor slot, the value is Matthew McConaughey, but nowhere does it say it's. So the Interstellar was a match, but Matthew McConaughey was not a match. That's interesting. How did we pass the ENIN JSON? So the value is Matthew McConaughey, and the synonym is Matthew McConaughey. Wasn't that supposed to work? Did I spell it wrongly? No, looks like I spelled it correct. Wow. I kind of look at what is happening here. I said Interstellar, so it did send me value and the resolutions, but for actor it just sent me the value, but it did not send me the original value, which is Matthew McConaughey's correct name. Oxygen box says capitalization. Might be the case. But I don't think capitalization should cause any issue because, you know what? I have an idea. Let's exit this. Let's just try that again. But this time, what we are going to do is we are just going to say Matthew McConaughey. We are not going to say the movie name, right? So we are not going to say the movie name at all this time. Let's see what happens if I do that. Open the dialog quiz. Marlon Brando from Godfather.
Wahoo! That was easy, wasn't it? I am sure you are now ready to start your journey. Let me find a player for you to compete with.
So let me just take this Matthew
I found
McConaughey's
someone
text
to play
here.
with you. The player is Karthik. Here is your first audio clip.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
So this
Can you
is,
guess who this is?
well, let's try this. So this is going to be Brad Pitt. So Brad Pitt.
You answered the question second time. Karthik, here is your first audio clip.
So that seems to be working. But let's actually open up and see what's happening in here. Hey, thanks for joining in, Kirk. And yes, I'll definitely contact you for DynamoDB. This was pretty helpful, and I'll read through this and stream a bit more about DynamoDB in the upcoming streams. But thanks for joining Synchrophoto. Coming back to the stream, hey, session, Justin just followed. Thanks for the follow, Justin. How do I find? Can you guess who this is? So now, wait. Okay, so I think we are at Brad Pitt. Okay, yeah, this is. This is this. I didn't anticipate this to happen. Is there a movie called as Pitt? I'm pretty sure there should be a movie called as Pitt. But Pitt movie? I just hope it's not something NSFW. But here's the weird thing. So when I said Brad Pitt, what Alexa just did was took the value Brad and the movie as Pitt, which makes no sense. Maybe this might be because in my model, I've not given the space for the user to just say actor. Let's try that, right? Let me just say actor or movie, right? Yeah, let's see what happens if I do any of these things. And oh, you know what? I think I never got around to deploying the model, folks. I think that was a problem. I never got around to deploying the model. That was the problem. All this time, I was just deploying the Lambda, and that was a problem. Can you imagine that? Okay, let's deploy the model as well. Yeah, I think that should solve the issue because it was not catching Matthew McConaughey before, and Oxygen Box, that was the issue. We did not update the model, and that's what caused this issue. So always update your models, folks. I think the CLI does this right now. I think if you do the latest CLI, I think I was looking at someone's session, and I'm not sure if that's what it does, but when you say ask deploy, it determines which of those files have changed and just makes just decides whether you want to deploy the model, and you don't need to do ask deploy -t lambda. I'm not sure though if that's how it was supposed to work. I'm not sure. I think that was one of those new features in the CLI. I'm yet to get around to the CLI and figure out what's new with the CLI. Okay, this is taking a bit of time. Okay, the build has been successful, but let's see what's happening in here. Okay, they're pulling the status for all models. Now, while that is happening, let's just write some code here. So what I'm supposed to do here is do something like let actor, let actor is equal to, let's open up the test. Okay, we don't have the test model as well. Let's open up the test. Leave this page. Yes, we deploy. Okay, the function is being deployed. So once we kind of have this, okay, now this is deployed. Let's try this out. I'm going to say open the dialog quiz. Okay, I think
Welcome back, user.
we're going to use we're not going to delete the user. Yeah, that works as well. No, I don't think this works. I need to delete the user. This is not going to work. Basically what I was trying to do is let's focus on the happy path for now. Let's not worry a lot about how this entire experience is going to work for the second time. Our focus is just to get the happy path experience nailed. Marlon Brando from Godfather. There we go.
Woohoo! That was easy, wasn't it? I am sure you are now ready to start your journey. Let me find a player for you to compete with. I found someone to play with you. The player is Oxygen Box. Here is your first audio clip.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
Dot, can you guess who this is?
We'll remove the dot in a while, but it now looks like we've got Brad Pitt, right? So that is Brad Pitt from Fight Club. So I'm going to just say Brad Pitt, and this time, because I've changed the model and I've added utterances, it should reflect correctly in the values, right? Let's try this out. Brad Pitt.
You answered the question second time, Karthik. Here is your first audio clip.
Let's just exit this, but come back here. But there we go. We did get the actor's value. Brad Pitt did work for us. But it also said an ER success, no match. I wonder why. I think it should have said ER success match, right? Or am I missing something here? Okay. I can still make do with this. I think I just need to check if the value that the user said was same as. So here's what I'm going to do. Let's do handler input dot request envelope dot slots. Is that slots? No, I think it's request dot intent dot slots. Is that correct? Request dot intent dot slots dot actor dot value dot slots dot actor dot value dot slots dot actor dot value. I agree, Oxygen Box. Brad Pitt is not equal to Brad Pitt. But what I would do is I would kind of, I'm okay doing that. I'm okay capturing the user's answer. I think I'm missing something here though. I kind of feel that ER success match only happens, and correct me if I'm wrong, but folks on the stream, if you know about this, but I think ER success match happens only if it matches one of those slot values or synonyms that you have fed to the slot values, right? I think that's when an ER success match happens. As long as I'm getting the value, I think I'm fine. I don't need these resolutions per authority at this point. Maybe Justin would know a bit better about it. Justin, did I capture that correctly? So now let's do the same for movie as well. We need to capture what the user said in the movie. If either one of them are undefined, we'll just say that, hey, right? So what we are going to do is actor is equal to actor dot to lowercase. So the question here, Justin, is I just got the actor Brad Pitt, so that worked. I said Brad Pitt and I got the actor's value Brad Pitt, but I did not see an ER success match in the resolutions per authority. And I think the ER success match happens when a value that you have provided in slot value, when the user says something that matches a value that you have provided in the slot values, right? Is my understanding correct? I couldn't recollect, but when does an ER success match happen? That was my question. But yes, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to turn both of them to it's not a custom slot type. It is an inbuilt slot type. I'm using Amazon.actor. Lowercase. So actor is equal to actor.lowercase. Movie is equal to movie.to lowercase. And then what we are going to do here is if actor is equal to session attributes dot correct actor, unless you add a synonym. That's correct. So yeah, I think that's what I was missing. So if the actor that the user has said is same to the session attributes correct actor, and if the movie is also correct, session attributes dot correct movie, and actually let's see how are we saying this, right? So I think we need to convert all of this to lower strings, to lowercase, right, and to lowercase. Okay, this looks good. So if this is correct, we'll say that, hey, you got the you answered both of them correct, you get 10 points, right? Else they just get else if both of the answers are wrong, no, I think else if either the actor is correct or the movie is correct, they get a 5-point bonus, right? So that's what they will get. I'll just put in a movie here, and yeah, there we go. Speak output, you get 5 points. And if they don't get any of this correct, right, we say you answered one of them correct, you get 5 points, and we say you answered none of them correct, you get 0 points. And we'll kind of work on this, folks. We'll work on the experience here. I'm just setting up the code base here. We will get to the point where we are kind of making just all of this example to work. So let's see if that works. So and just earlier in the stream, I was just asking everyone, what are your weekend plans? I know for me, Kirk just joined the stream some time back, and he works for the AWS DynamoDB team. And he gave me this really cool link for learning DynamoDB. I'm going to be spending a lot of time, maybe this weekend, learning about DynamoDB. But yes, happy to know what your weekend plans are going to be, folks. So this is deployed. Let's come back. Let's delete our user. I hate to do this all the time. Maybe I should get around to writing a script, because we are going to be using this a lot of time. Let's exit. So now what should happen is, if I said Brad Pitt from Fight Club, it should say 10 points. But if I just said Brad Pitt or I said Fight Club, it should give me 5 points. And if I said something totally random, it should give me a wrong answer and give me 0 points, right? So that's there we go. Marlon Brando from Godfather. So this is just the first time experience. There we go.
Woohoo! That was easy, wasn't it? I'm sure you are now ready to start your journey. Let me find a player for you to compete with. I found someone to play with you. The player is Oxygen Box. Here is your first audio clip.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
Dot, can you guess who this is?
So that would be Brad Pitt from Fight Club, right? So I'm going to say Brad Pitt. Okay.
Sorry, I had trouble doing what you asked. Please try again.
Too close, too close. We almost came to fixing this. But what happened? What went wrong here? What went wrong here? So, did we reach the right intent? Yes, we did reach the right intent. It looks like. Okay. I think we need to console.log here. I should have done this before. Console.log movie. Let's see what happens here. What else are we doing here? What are we doing here? Session attributes dot correct movie dot to lowercase. This should work, right? Oh, you know what? Yeah. Yeah. I think. Here's the problem. I think what's happening is, because the movie is undefined at this point, movie's value is undefined, this is happening. So how do we handle that if it is undefined? Or null? Is that how it's supposed to work? You can hey Hawk 2000, you haven't been I haven't seen you around for a while. How are you? You can assign an empty string to compare to. I'm just missing the context there. Where do I compare an empty string to? Can assign an empty string to compare to. Not sure where you would want me to do that, but I think we've tackled this sometime back here, where I think we tackled this in the stream for some time back. I could do something like this. If it's not null, I could do something like this. This should be fine as well. So that way it's never empty string. Maybe this works. When I get the slot, is this what you meant, Hawk 2000? This is one way for me to handle this, I guess. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so that's the way I wanted to handle that. Let's deploy this. Let's go back in and let's delete the user. There we go. Okay, now let's exit. Open the dialog quiz. Marlon Brando from Godfather. Oh, now we've gotten Matthew McConaughey.
That was easy, wasn't it? I am sure you are now ready to start your journey. Let me find a player for you to compete with. I've found someone to play with you. The player is Oxygen Box. Here is your first audio clip.
I'm gonna make him an offer again.
Dot, can you guess who this is?
So keep in mind, folks, at this point I'm just playing the audio, the same audio every time. But yeah, I'm going to say Interstellar because I know for fact that if I said Matthew McConaughey, it's going to fail for a while because we haven't set up a value to handle the synonyms properly. But let's just say Interstellar and see what happens.
You answered one of them correct. You get 5 points. Oxygen Box. Here is your first audio clip.
Right, so I'm going to stop that. But yes, we got that working properly.
Goodbye.
So at this point, what is happening here is we do land in here, and once we land in here, it does check that, hey, I just got one of these answers correct, that is the movie in this case, and then it says you answered one of them correct, right? But it still does go inside this entire process where it finds another opponent for you, which is not something that we want. We want the opponent to be fetched only when this user is coming for the first time, right? We don't want it all the time. So we kind of can wrap this up in a function and have this function being called only from here, that is from these two places, and not in from here, right? So that is one way to kind of put this up. But sorry, not from here, sorry, either from these two places, and then this is only for those repeat questions that keep getting asked. But I think at this point we kind of carried along well in the skill. Okay, the skills gameplay now is kind of falling in shape, and this is really exciting. So at this point, what we today did was we kind of figured out how to get how to find a player. That was something that we had already figured out, and we got their names, and then we got the questions that they have answered into the session attributes. And then once we got them into the session attributes, we asked the first question. Now, once we get the first question to the user, the user answers the first question, and then we tell them that, hey, your movie is correct, but your actor is wrong. So we kind of written that logic, and we just even tested a couple of things in there as well. Today on the stream, we also had Synchro Photo join us from the AWS DynamoDB team, and he's given us a couple of cool resources to work with, which is basically the training from Linux Academy, which you can check out. It's a pretty cool link. I'm going to be checking out this course pretty much sometime soon. And he also introduced us to the NoSQL Workbench for Amazon DynamoDB, which is good for data modeling and data visualization. So that is also something that I'm going to deep dive into and figure out how to work with that. But yes, that's pretty much what we have done. I'm really excited what we have done so far. The entire architecture is kind of fitting in the place. But like I said, this is we are going to spend, I think, at least 1 or 2 weeks more before all of this starts to come together. And I really appreciate all of you joining me here on the stream. It really helps learn together and make all these mistakes and have someone figure out what I'm doing wrong and help me out with that. I hope these sessions are useful to you as much as they are useful to me. But yes, all as usual, appreciate all of you joining me here today. And with that, it's time for me to sign off. I hope all of you have a great weekend, folks. As usual, don't forget to stay safe and stay healthy. Until then, bye bye from me. Good night and see you on Monday.